It's time for the sixth film in my 31 Horrors of Mike. I do apologise for the lateness of this video, just the way things happened. Yesterday I didn't actually get a chance to record my daily review, which was really annoying. It was just something kind of came up. But never mind, I'm doing it now. So you get two videos today, you get two movie reviews in the one day. Aren't you lucky? So today's film is the 1975 classic Jaws. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. It stars Roy Schneider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw. And it's a film which was based on a novel of the same name by Peter Benchley. It is a movie which many people don't consider to be a horror film. But to me, it very much is. In fact, I'd go further than that and I would say it's a creature feature. It's a monster movie. That's essentially what it is. Now, I know that it's dealing with a real life creature, a real life animal, but to me, it still very much has that feeling of living off of the legacy of the sort of 1950s monster movies. Jaws is set in a small coastal town in America, which makes most of its money from tourism, and as such, a lot of people are in the water, and people start going missing, bodies start turning up, and it's hypothesised that there may be a man-eating shark in the waters. Now, this causes a bit of hysteria, and three men come forward to try to catch the shark. Chief Brody, played by Roy Schneider, who is the sort of sheriff of the small town and is really looking out for the safety of everybody. Richard Dreyfuss, who is brought in as a sort of shark expert, and Quint, played by Robert Shaw, my favourite character, who is this army veteran who has a lot of experience in catching sharks. And the three of them go out in this small boat, the Orca, to try and find this shark over several days. And there's a lot of tension between the three of them, especially between Quint and Richard Dreyfuss's character, because Richard Dreyfuss is more of an academic he knows more scientifically about how sharks work, but Quint has had very much sort of first-hand experience of these things, and he's been in the water when people have been killed by sharks and things like that. So there's a lot of there's a bit of animosity between them, and on the set there was apparently a lot of animosity between Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss, and no one's really sure if that was genuine or whether it was that Robert Shaw felt that was the best way to get a performance out of Richard Dreyfuss. Who knows? Both were fantastic actors. Richard Dreyfuss is still around, obviously, but Robert Shaw has sadly passed on. But anyway, the film to me is very much, it lives off of, like I say, the legacy of the monster movie, but it also lives off of the legacy of Hitchcock. When you talk about a film which is suspense in nature, Jaws has just got phenomenal suspense, turning into Sean Connery, phenomenal suspense. It really rivals, in my opinion, anything that Hitchcock did in terms of that suspense and tension. And it also really makes you think, what happened to Spielberg, because although he's made a lot of fantastic films, he's never really made anything with the same level of suspense in it. So it's peculiar to me that he really made two films that were built on that similar tension. One was called Duel and and this one's called Jaws. And then after that, his style of filmmaking really changed. So I've always found that quite interesting. I mean, this is in many ways the closest we get to a Spielberg horror film, but some people would say that Poltergeist very much was directed by Spielberg, but we'll never know if that is the truth or not because it's credited to Tobe Hooper. But certainly this film is just, it has a great atmosphere. It's strange because it's quite brutal in places, and it has one of the most fantastic jump out scares I've ever seen as well. There's a scene with something that comes out the side of a boat. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but the story that I was always told was that my dad and my brother's 5 years older than me, and that when he was a wee boy, my dad was sitting watching it. My dad enjoyed a beer, so he had this big tankard of beer, just filled it up, just getting ready to enjoy it. And that part of the film happened, and my brother leapt up onto my dad's seat because he was scared, and the beer went everywhere. It's one of those family stories that always gets told. But it's certainly a film that I'm very fond of. I watched it again and again and again when I was a kid, It just always reminded me of sort of holiday times, whether it was Christmas or Easter or stuff like that. It was always a film that was shown. And I would also like to say that, you know, there aren't many great sequels out there, but Jaws 2 certainly is a good sequel in my opinion. It's a film, I mean, it has its flaws, and while it's not as good as the original film, it certainly to me is a very, very solid sequel, and it's got a lot of tension in it and a lot of great moments in it as well. But it kind of gets lost because the other Jaws sequels are so poor. People sort of write off all the Jaws films that came after the first one, and really, you know, I would definitely recommend watching the second one as well. The fourth one's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. The third one's kind of just a bit strange. It was originally a 3D film, but the fourth one is awful. Michael Caine said about the fourth one, because he's in it, he said, I never saw it, I heard it was shit. And if one of your actors says that about a film, you know it's bad, but it is terrible. But honestly, the first Jaws movie is just incredible. I know they had a lot of problems with the shark and the physical effects during the film, but I don't think that's really evident on screen. I mean, a lot of people do, but I don't. I think the shark looks fine. I think they used it sparingly because of that, but I think that benefits the tension. You know, I think less is more in these sorts of films. But I definitely think that it's worth watching. It's an absolute horror film. I know some people think that it's not, but I genuinely do think it's a horror movie. And you know, what do you guys think about Jaws? Do you love it? Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's a horror movie? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about it. And I'll be back shortly with another 31 Horrors of Mike. So, bye for now.